A response. That's what the Idaho Steelheads will be looking for tonight after the Colorado Eagles wrested control of this Mountain Division semifinal series in Wednesday night's Game 3. Tonight, the Steelheads look to even things up with a better effort and to find some answers for Eagles goaltender Lucas Hafner. Live from CenturyLink Arena, this is Idaho Steelheads playoff hockey, Game 4 of the Mountain Division semifinals between the Idaho Steelheads and the Colorado Eagles. And good evening, everyone. Brian McCormick here with you. It's great to have you with us for Idaho Steelheads playoff hockey and the U.S. Bank ECHL Kelly Cup playoffs. Mark Brose will join us shortly, as he always does. For the Idaho Steelheads, their discussion yesterday after Game 3's 4-2 loss to the Colorado Eagles was about bouncing back, but also looking forward. This is a team that was not happy with their performance on Wednesday. It was a Colorado team that took control of the game right from the get-go. The Steelheads never able to really get themselves set. And although they did tie the game in the first, although they were close in the second, never got the offensive energy and output that they wanted, and that mountain will get just a little bit taller to climb tonight without a significant player. As we look at our storylines for tonight and for the Idaho Steelheads right off the top, it's turning the page. And talking to Will Merchant yesterday, talking to Andre Morissette yesterday, talking to Kellen Lane prior to this series, everyone talked about the importance of taking it one game at a time, one shift at a time. That's a bit of a cliche, but it certainly means that you need to keep looking forward. And for the Steelheads, in Game 1, they had the exact results they wanted. They were still talking about looking forward to the next game. Wednesday's Game 3, they were not happy with their effort. They were not happy with their performance, but they talked about the fact that it's a Game 3 in a playoff series. The only thing the loss accomplishes is putting you down one game. It's not like the regular season where a loss of any kind has implications in the standings and adjustments and teams chasing you and you chasing teams. No. The only team this affected was the Idaho Steelheads and the Colorado Eagles, and therefore the Steelheads can move past it, look forward, and try to have a more physically dominant effort and a more imposing performance tonight against a Colorado team that has size but has predominantly used its skill thus far in this series. Steelheads first and foremost, so we're going to have to find more answers offensively and more contributors 5-on-5, which takes us to our second storyline. The Steelheads will be missing a significant piece. It'll be a mission without the captain, and that'll be for both teams. Steelheads captain Jefferson Dahl injured late in the second period on Wednesday night. A hit from Sean Zimmerman, which we'll get a look at in just a few moments. Right now, we get a look at Jefferson Dahl and the impact that he did have early in the game. And we talk about the offensive production we've seen from Jefferson Dahl. 2 goals and an assist in this series. The second goal came right here. A power play early in the first period that tied the game at 1. Jefferson Dahl has been a catalyst for the Steelheads after leading them in offense and scoring all season long. But late in the second period, Sean Zimmerman steps up in the corner on Jefferson Dahl. This hit from behind was called a 2-minute charging penalty. The league decided it would be more. Sean Zimmerman has been suspended for the next 3 games. He will not be available to Colorado until Game 7 if necessary. So Colorado's captain out of the lineup due to suspension. Jefferson Dahl, the Steelheads captain, out of the lineup due to injury, and we'll have to keep an eye on him as the series moves along. That's a big loss for the Idaho Steelheads, and tonight it'll be a matter of who else can step up, who's going to be able to come through offensively when so much of the offense in this series has come from the trio of Rob Linsmeyer, Jefferson Dahl, and Will Merchant. Kellen Lane's chipped in some offense as well. He's certainly someone who will have more expectations here in Game 4, but for the Steelheads, they have several players who produced a lot in the regular season, whether it be Anthony Luciani, Bryce Van Brabant, Joe Basaraba, players who haven't found the back of the net just yet. We'll look for them to step up in Game 4 because it is that time of the series now. We're reaching that turning point where answers are needed. The Colorado Eagles have had 11 2-1 series leads in their history dating back to the Central Hockey League days. In those 11 series in which they've had a 2-1 lead, they've won 10 of them, the lone exception in 2014 when they lost to the Idaho Steelheads. So the Steelheads need to turn things around offensively. They've had a great defensive series with the exception of Game 3. They need to get their offense going a little bit more. For more information on that and the Steelheads game plan as a whole, we'll go downstairs outside the Steelhead locker room where Mark Brose is with a member of the coaching staff. Go ahead, Mark.
Ready to go for the hockey game right outside the locker room with Coach Graham. And, Wednesday night, hard-fought game, and I think probably one of the things she talked about was puck possession.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought our effort needs to be a little bit better, and it's something we addressed. But in terms of the puck possession, it's a key, especially in the O-zone. We're not throwing things blind. We're using our speed to establish our cycle game, our scissor game, and in turn possessing the puck. It helps wear their team down, and that's the way we want to play.
All right. Well, good luck tonight, Coach, and go Steelheads. And you know what? Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Neil. Happy birthday to head coach Neil Graham. Third storyline for tonight. the half and the half-nots, and that is Lucas Hafner, the goaltender for the Colorado Eagles, who has been outstanding against the Steelheads dating back to the regular season. He is 3-0-1 against the Steelheads this year, and you see his biggest saves in the Game 3 effort, that breakaway stop on Andre Morissette and this backdoor stop on Anthony Luciani, a puck that was practically behind him. A 1.71 goals against average for Lucas Hafner against the Steelheads, regular season and playoff combined, and a .940 save percentage. Steelheads need to get more rubber on Lucas Hafner. They had just 21 shots in Game 3, and in Game 2 and 3, they've had just 4 shots in the first period. Look for the Steelheads to get a better start against Hafner tonight in Game 4. Let's take a look at our Footsteps Photography team snapshots. Footsteps Photography, they're capturing life's ever-precious moments. Make sure you follow them on Facebook. Let them know the Steelheads sent you. Steelheads 3 for 9 on the power play. It's been one of the strong points of their game after going 2 for 5 on Wednesday night. Their penalty kill 9 for 11 has also been solid. Just unable to find an answer for one Eagle in particular, who we'll touch on in a moment. Kellen Lane will have more expectations tonight. He had a big goal on Wednesday night to make it a 3-2 hockey game, a power play goal late in the second period. Kellen Lane now with a goal and 2 assists in the series. He had a 2-point night on Wednesday, and here you get a look at Kellen Lane. A nice little give and go with Rob Linsmeyer off the wall. Lane able to finish, and Rob Linsmeyer, of course, has been the best offensive player for the Steelheads. 4 points for him in this series. We'll see how Lane and Linsmeyer can work together on the power play with Jefferson Dahl obviously unavailable. Over on the Colorado side, of course, we've talked about Lucas Hafner, who's had a huge impact. As again, we got to look at Kellen Lane with his 2 goals and 2 assists in this series and the impact he can have in his first playoff action. For the Colorado Eagles, 2 for 11 on the power play, 6 for 9 on the penalty kill. That also includes the shorthanded goal scored by Casey Piero Zabatel on Wednesday. But for the Eagles, a lot of their success in Game 3 came from a former Steelhead, and that is Alex Belzile. Alex Belzile with 2 goals and an assist in the last 2 games. That include the game-tying goal late in Game 2. And this set up in the second period, that was Johnny Lazo setting up Julian Nantel, another duo that have been very successful. Sean Santamont and Alex Belzile working together have also found offense, and here was the power play late in the second period where Alex Belzile is going to score with under 1 second left on the clock off that feed from Matt Register, a one-timer that gets through the legs of Landon Bowe. For Alex Belzile, it's been a matter of him winning physical battles all over the ice, and there, of course, he has a good shot as well that Steelhead fans will remember. He had 69 points in 63 games as a Steelhead during the 2014-15 season. But for the Steelheads, Alex Belzile's effort, his ability to win battles, and the best example of it perhaps being Colorado's first goal of the game, where Corbin Baldwin was behind his own net, stripped of the puck on a physical forecheck play by Belzile. That set up the goal by Sean Santamont. That kind of work by Belzile is what the Steelheads have had a difficult time dealing with, as now we'll get another look at the first goal of Game 3, and there's Belzile chasing down Baldwin behind the net, taking the puck away and setting up Santamont. The AHL talent sent down from San Antonio to Colorado for this series really has been very effective against the Steelheads. That includes Belzile, Santamont, Nantel, who scored in Game 3, and Mason Gertson. Sergei Boykov, a 20-year-old defenseman as well. His rookie season, he's been showing a lot of snarl in the back end. So for the Idaho Steelheads, they're going to have to find a way to close down Belzile and Santamont better than they've done. We've already discussed in this series the job the Steelheads have done against 30-goal scorers like Matt Garbowski and Luke Salazar, each with just an assist in this series. Secondary assists of that, Casey Piero Zabatel with the shorthanded goal in Game 3, but largely he's been kept quiet. Steelheads have done a good job there. Now they need to start finding answers for Alex Belzile. We'll take a look now at our St. Luke Sports Medicine injury report and the roster the Steelheads will use to do so. There are no players on injured reserve. Of course, Jefferson Dahl day-to-day after his injury at the end of Game 3. Steelheads will have Michael McMurtry come out of the lineup. Brian Nugent comes back in. Brandon Anselmini, who played forward for several games at the end of the regular season, he'll play forward again tonight as Travis Walsh makes his first appearance of this series on defense. So a little bit of movement for the Steelheads in their roster, some juggling. Bryce Van Brabant is expected to go up between Rob Linsmeyer and Will Merchant on that top line, filling the void left by Jefferson Dahl. And as we've mentioned, Bryce Van Brabant defensively has been fantastic. He's been very good in a shutdown role, hasn't scored in his last 14 games dating back to the regular season. Steelheads need to get him going, and playing Bryce Van Brabant with Will Merchant and Rob Linsmeyer, we'll see if that is the trick to get him moving in Game 4 and find the Steelheads some secondary scoring and some new offensive options against Lucas Hafner in this very strong Colorado defense. That'll do it for our pregame coverage. We will step aside. When we come back, we'll have goaltending matchups, starting lineups, and the drop of the puck. Everyone on our Cable One crew is ready. It's Game 4 of the Mountain Division Semifinals. Steelheads and Eagles field the steel. It's coming up next.